Well, welcome to Lincoln, Nebraska, to the Haymarket. We are ready for ABA, right?
Yeah, so ready.
This is going to be a great time. We've got trucks starting right behind us.
They're revved up.
We're
for
revved
ABA.
up. So I just want to recap with both of you. This conference means a lot to me, but so much to you as well. In fact, as we were talking like just moments ago, we all met at ABA Bank
Yes.
Marketing.
Yes. First one for me was New Orleans.
The actual conference I went to was Baltimore. So not that long ago, but
That's where we met. Yes.
We've met several times through ABA.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's thinking about just the significance of this conference to bank marketers, the significance to just, our connections and relationships and seeing the industry advance. It's great to be here. Wish we were in Austin, Texas, but it's almost that warm right here.
Almost.
Yeah, it's toasty down here actually. 90 degrees yesterday. But like to your point though, Ben, this is the event that bank marketers look forward to every year, and in person or virtual, like everyone's pumped up, everyone's ready to connect, everyone's got that thirst for knowledge, and that's why they go to conference. They want something to take away and take back to their banks. They want to be successful, and the ABA conference is a place to do that.
Yeah. Well, we're doing this live, checking in with a lot of bankers, but we've been doing a community bank series called Community Heroes to really highlight so many of these stories, which really comes from where our brand comes from. Jody, maybe you could share a little bit of some of that language and how that's been developed at Social Assurance.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. Obviously, it's something very near and dear to me. Whenever you can kind of leave your imprint on a brand, it means something. And so, yeah, when I was working with you and the leadership team and Sarah, our content manager, building out our brand coming into this year, we really took that step back and to really understand where we've been and where we are today, but really where do we want to go as a brand. And some of the things that we really talked about was just this sense of purpose of helping and supporting, our bank clients across the country, and really how do we elevate them to be the heroes of their community in what they're doing as banks with their community give back programs, social good, just supporting them in their growth. And so we really took a step back and created this brand purpose around, we want to help banks be the heroes of their communities, right? And so it's kind of fitting with conference as well. And again, for us to be able to talk about that and reinforce that, means a lot. And so one of the things that Sarah and I worked on from a content strategy perspective is like, we can't just say that we do this, like how do we actually bring it to life and showcase this brand purpose. And one of the things that we tasked you with, Ben, was to really pack up the suitcases and let's interview bankers across the country and really give them a voice, give them a platform to share their stories about all of the remarkable things that they're doing in marketing, sales, community impact. And this content series has been a great way for us to reconnect, especially virtually over the last 12 months. But again, give them this platform that they so deserve to be able to kind of share their stories and inform, other bank marketers about all the great things that they're doing.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to highlight a few of those quick stories for you. When I jumped out onto the road back in March, I hit up a few of those. The very first one I caught up with was John Oxford in Tupelo, Mississippi. And, talking to John, he said, I think I've got a location. So this location actually was right on Elvis's porch that he grew up on. So I got to chat with him a little bit right there.
I was going to do a coloring book, but then, I could never stay in the lines anyway, so I thought I'd try to write a real book. But anyway, sports went down. I'm a huge sports fan. I'm a sports nut, whatever. I mean, I got the jersey on today from our MLS team. But to the point of there wasn't a lot going on in the spring of 2000.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting.
So, I hung out with John for the day in Tupelo, but, we talked about his book. We talked about a lot of the marketing activities that have been happening and really seeing the way that he repositioned marketing over and over again, which was really fun to see, just the way that their brand's evolved and the way he's worked on that. After that, I went and chatted with one of our good friends, Natalie Bartholomew, who had a couple changes recently.
Yeah, big news this past week. Joining the citizens group in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Yeah, so I chatted with Natalie. I know she's presenting a little bit at the conference as well, as is, I think John's doing kind of a master class.
I would go speak to conferences, or not conferences, to schools. And just the kids were looking at me like I had 5 heads, not interested at all in talking about banking, specifically the women, the young girls. Just no interest whatsoever in considering a career in banking. So that's a concern, right?
So, Natalie's been doing a lot of things, but what do you think about her big transition?
I'm excited for her and for the group in Oklahoma. I mean, she is truly one who I think is seeking out to support women in banking. And obviously we know that through her Growth Banker platform, but just the constant positive encouragement she's providing, I think it just aligns with Jill. And they're going to do great things there in Oklahoma.
That's great.
100%. And I love the fact her new role is Chief Impact Officer as well. And so as we think about marketing and the functions that marketing has today as well, it is really about driving impact, whether that be revenue, community, marketing, employee impact as well. And so it's wonderful to see this evolution of her role as well, and how that role really aligns with the strategy that Jill Castilla has put forward for citizens as well. So yeah, I think it's a powerhouse team that's being built there, and wonderful to see what's going to happen out of that relationship. So super excited for her and the team.
Yeah, I got a chance to catch up with Jill a little bit down in Edmond when Herd on Herd went back in person. It was fantastic to get to see just, the energy in their community, and just talk to so many business owners down in that community that were saying, hey, we're just glad to be back. By the way, we started a business in a pandemic, and I mean, it was fantastic just to see that energy and things. Now, some of the other presenters we're looking forward to seeing at this conference. Jamie, you caught up with one of the presenters who's presenting, I believe, later today.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow during the general session at 9:30, 10:30, depending what time zone you're in. Brittany Campbell with Legends Bank. She's doing some fantastic work, and really I know we have a little clip today, but she has some great information I think we can maybe share in tomorrow's session, our live stream tomorrow, but talking about just how bank marketers, kind of like what you were talking about with Natalie and the Chief Impact Officer role, we're just bank marketers are asked to be so many things in the bank today, whether it's data, revenue, marketing, digital, all the experience realm. And so she's doing some great work, and she'll talk more about that tomorrow in her session. She's on a panel. But she started her bank, and I'll let her talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
We launched a brand for women called Her Bank, which is part of what I'm speaking about at the conference. And it's just so exciting. And I would just say that, my takeaway from all of this and building that brand is banking is still a people business.
Yeah, she had, some great sound bites. I mean, that's really fun to see, just the way that she's approaching that. And I know you were really excited for the rest of her talk.
I am. I'm so excited to hear her. I think that, just like her clip said, banking is a people business, and as community bankers, we know that. So it's really about how we execute on that. And so I'm excited. It gets me all pumped up for a conference, hearing all the speakers.
And Jamie, how does it feel this will be your first conference on the other side, right?
Yes.
Last year you were here as a bank marketer, this year you're here with Social Assurance.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be with Social Assurance, and I think it's just been really fulfilling in this last, 6 months that I've been here roughly, where, the tables are turned a bit, and I can see that, we have an opportunity to help banks. I mean, we talk all the time, banks are understaffed, underfunded, and bank marketing teams, they just, we're talking to bank marketers, and we don't have as many resources as we would love to have. So just being on this side, being able to help fill in those gaps along the way, and just be those partners walking alongside with banks as they journey on their path. It's been really exciting. So thanks for the job, Ben.
Well, I mean, it's great to be here with you, and I think it's so fun that we get to do this like a real conference. We were talking about this last night at dinner, right? Like, you need to have dinner before the conference starts, right? You need to sort of like have this break away from things. And just as we were talking about all the things that we're catching up on and the conversations we've been having, while we are virtual in a lot of senses, we have had some great chances to connect with a lot of community bankers. And so folks like yourself that last year, were really, on an island in some respects, having to do so many things, whether you're a team of one or a team of 20, you still have a lot of things that are covering. I know, Jody, you talk about it a lot of times, the breadth of things going on in bank marketing. How do you feel like we're going to address that in the next 2 days?
Yeah, you're spot on, Ben. There's this, expectation now. It's not just about like the depth of knowledge that you need to be a successful bank marketer, but now it is this breadth of expertise that's needed as well. And to Jamie's point, it's obviously strategy and revenue generation, but now you're looking at all of these different functions: content creation, digital marketing strategist, social media manager, all of these things, all the while still doing like these traditional functions like advertising and corporate comms. And so I think one of the things that ABA and the conference certainly focuses on, and obviously John Hanley and Chris Nichols being co-chairs of this year's conference, is how do we actually put these resources directly in front of the bank marketers so they can take that and either build a business case back with their CEO going, here's what I learned, here's what our competitors are doing, here's what we need to address, or taking that to invest in their own knowledge and expertise, because the reality is banks are and should be marketing-minded organizations if they're going to be successful, and they need to be investing. And it's a great way, invest, yes, sending them to ABA, but when they're coming back with that information, how are we actually going to support them to implement and execute on that as well? I think it's incredibly important discussions, like even in the next 2 days, like but after that as well.
Yeah. Now, both of you have stayed connected with so many bank marketers in that role, through school, through a lot of the other things that ABA does as well. How was that for you as a bank marketer, and how is that for you now as far as those connections?
Well, for me, I mean, it's a huge advantage when you're in the bank marketing space, and it's a repeated message that, you have so much on your plate you're trying to accomplish. It's those moments you stop and take a breath and take a look around you and recognize that there are really great things happening across the country that you could innovate and switch and change and do for yourself. But I think one of the biggest advantages, I look back, I was still working in the bank during the start of the pandemic, and kind of through the heat of lobbies closing, and how do we communicate? And our ABA network, I know that Jody and I were exchanging a little bit in this, even though she was here at Social Assurance, but several of us were sharing, like, here's the sign I'm posting on the door, here's what we're putting on our website, so that we became resources for one another. And I think that's just a testament to the relationships that we can even have virtually, and we are having virtually, to be able to be a resource for one another in those times of crisis and stress, because like I said, it's just so hard when you're so focused on what you're trying to accomplish to take that moment to breathe. The conference gives you that space to be able to do that, and the network gives you that reminder when you see an email come through, oh, they're talking about this, I should be probably thinking about what is my sign going to look like. And so it's just just that good bouncing ideas off of each other. From my standpoint, being on this side of things now, it's definitely learning how to have these relationships in a way that's just, I hope, meaningful for the banks. Truly trying to find ways to be supportive and find solutions that can help them accomplish what they're trying to accomplish.
Well, we've had a lot of conversations, even last year in the unconference, we talked about it a number of times, that the role of the marketer has been raised with within banks, right? And part of that is because of this digital transformation that we've moved from a model where when we weren't meeting with people, like handshakes just weren't, they weren't that fashionable last year, right? And so like as we look at that transition to how do we replace that with marketing efforts, we have to get more precise with our marketing. We have to get better at it. We have to find new ways to reach people. How do you see that playing out over this next year?
Yeah, please, add in here too, Jamie. We've already even started to see this shift quite dramatically, and a lot of things that we're seeing is that dollar shift from a budgeting perspective, going from like traditional media through to digital media as well. And so, I think last year we were kind of getting to that like 40% of your budget was kind of more allocated to digital because people weren't faced with like, I need to meet them where they are and they're consuming content online. Social media became an even more powerful channel to connect and engage, and through that sense of community that social media provides. So we really started to see that shift. And then I think that even was accelerated even going into 2021 because you not only had the people that were in digital, but now you're amplifying the people, like so more digital maturity within their programs as well. And so we're even seeing now closer to like that 60% digital budget allocation versus a 40% traditional as well. And so I think banks are absolutely making investments in digital. They're making it a priority to invest in digital too, and I think in two parts, from a budgeting perspective, but also who are the people we need in place that actually knows what they're doing in digital as well, and whether that be a vendor partner or bringing in FTEs or investing. I think Shelley Lofton and I talked a lot last year from the ABA too of like this year's a year for upskilling and reskilling, right? Like yes. If your team doesn't know it, we're going to upskill. And if even senior leadership, right? Like reskill, right? They may be experts in lending and risk management and financial analysis, but we need to reskill our senior leadership team as well to understand more about digital and the value digital marketing brings as well. And I think those have been a couple of really crucial components to the shifts that I've been seeing for sure.
I was glad to see that. I was looking through some of the attendee list and glad to see some bank presidents in the attendee list. I think that will be helpful in making some of that shift too, because we do see sometimes there's a disconnect between bank marketers and their understanding of that shift, and the bank at a leadership level understanding where they need to go to get to that place.
Yeah, those resources and support, I think, are going to be so critical, and finding ways to advocate for yourself, for your role, for the role of marketing within your institution. I think it's going to be a huge opportunity really in this next year.
And that's where too, just to that note, just one more point there, Ben, as well. Another reason why digital is a powerful, channels, if you want to look at it in that way too. It's not just, again, precision with marketing and targeting and all of the features, functionality that play into digital too, but it is that proving your worth and measurement as well. And that's something that we talk a lot about with bank marketers, right? Like we have to prove our value, right? And that we are contributing to revenue streams. We're not just a cost center too. And digital is another powerful way to do that, because there's the data that behind that can say we did attract, we did engage, and we did convert as well. And you have the analytics behind that to really demonstrate that too. So I think that's that other key component to kind of wrap the bow on that too.
Absolutely. I think so many of us were so grateful for the opportunities we've had. During our Community Heroes, I caught up with Amber Farley, a friend of both of yours, and one of her great comments. I'll share with you one of her quick clips where she really talked about her role and the opportunity of what she gets to do.
If I had to pick a job right now, I don't think I would pick anything different because of the clients that we're able to serve, because of what community banks do for their communities. And we get to be a part of that story.
Yeah, just a great clip sharing who she is, but also really, FMS and really the role that all of us get to play in celebrating these heroes. And I'm excited to have more of those conversations today and tomorrow. What are both of you looking forward to the most?
Well, I've already said this once, but Ben, you're speaking later today, right? Yeah, so I think that session's going to be a good one. Certainly looking forward to that. I mean, it's a jam-packed, great couple of days.
I mean, you're kind of sucking up right now.
I'm a little bit
Yeah.
sucked
She's
up.
still the new guy. She's still the new guy, right?
I am the low man on the totem pole. No, I am very much looking forward. I mean, I have the pleasure of getting to listen to you and learn from you on the regular basis. And so, just a good plug there to get you some love. And yeah, I mean, there's just so many good sessions ahead of us. I know Jody's really looking forward to Clark.
Oh yeah, I have to. The FMS team and obviously Amber's clip there too. Something that makes that team successful, and I think even too for us as well is sincere dedication and commitment to the success of banks. Right, whatever role that we play in that process, we truly want them to be successful in whatever that they do. And yes, Clark, he's a tremendous talent at FMS. And so he has a session tomorrow that I know Sarah and our creative team are really, really excited about to see. But I think the conference as a whole, bank marketers always come into it for a couple of different reasons, right? They want to be re-energized. They wanted to reignite their passion for bank marketing as well. And they do that with this kind of sense of community around it. And we always kind of joke, but it's part true that conference is somewhat therapy for bank marketers because a lot of the times in their bank, they are, on an island by themselves, and there is some, impact to that too. And so to be able to be reunited with people that understand, what you're going through, but can also celebrate in your successes. And I think that that's quite unique with the bank marketing kind of segment too, is there isn't this sense of competitiveness. There really is everyone is, rooting for your success. Everyone is your greatest cheerleader. And I think that that's amazing to see that play out in conference and just that unique information sharing. So I hope that every bank marketer, even virtually, can still get that sense of community and just be re-energized, reignited, and just take what they learn and just go kick some butt, because they're all doing an awesome job.
Well, one of those that I've been cheering on was John Hanley.
Yes.
And he's co-chairing this year in the middle of an acquisition at his bank. So he's they just are in the process of acquiring another sizable acquisition in their market. And so just fun to see the way that he's embraced all of these opportunities. I was texting with him on Friday, just a fantastic person who's driven, who's doing so many good things for Equity Bank. I caught up with him in person. Here's a quick clip of him, hoping that he gets to, connect with so many bankers. What are you excited about the most?
I'm excited, honestly, to see a lot of my friends and peers and colleagues like you from the industry that, come together and share ideas and really are interested in making banking better for all of our customers and really charting a path for the folks who are starting out in a career in bank marketing or maybe looking for the next step.
Awesome to just see the commitment by so many. Both of you have given back so many different times to ABA, to this conference. It's fun to be here with you and feel like we're in this conference together.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're making the most of it. Make lemonade out of lemons, but we're here in Lincoln, and we're here, and we're going to learn together as a team, and kind of feed off each other and get that energy flowing.
I love that, we were able to pivot
Yeah.
for ourselves,
Little Friends reference
a
there.
little Friends reference, being able to, we were all going to Austin and instead decided to be together, and I think that's wonderful. I think just really excited to see even just the engagement today as people are getting into conference, seeing what kind of nuggets and aha moments people get through. We always say be sure to post it, tag ABA, use the hashtag ABABMC2021, and certainly we want to see that engagement within the app. We want to be able to see what's going on and what our bank marketers are learning.
Well, thank you both. I know we're going to be chatting a lot with folks, but we're going to be back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. right out here or pretty close to it. Thanks to the Mill for some great coffee across the street. We've got 2 coffee shops on our corner. So we are well caffeinated, and we're going to be staying tuned all day today and into tomorrow. So thanks to everybody, and
Have a great day.